All right, just about ready to get going here. Let me just shuffle a few more of these windows around. Let's get OBS. We don't need this And let's get back to here so we can see the chat. Yum, Sour Patch Kids. Awesome. Okay. So we're gonna get going. Hello everyone. My name is Tim. Go by foamyguy online, like GitHub and Discord. If you're interested in following along with the chat that's on the screen, that is over in the Discord. On the Adafruit Discord, we're in the live broadcast room, so that's the chat that's down there in the corner. I think most folks probably would be watching Scott, but Scott's off for a couple of weeks, so I usually do a stream Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Central Time. So that's a different time zone than Scott. He's usually in, Pacific over there. So I don't know the conversion off the top of my head, but Saturday mornings, if you are interested in similar kind of content, you can catch me then typically. And I'll be streaming up tomorrow morning and most Saturdays. Tonight, though, what I want to work on is, I think, two things, maybe. We're going to start with some actually stuff around trying to learn about GitHub Actions and PyPy versions. I don't have a whole lot of experience with that, so I'm going to probably just make, I think, a kind of a test repo and set up some actions and see different ways to push into PyPy and different ways to set up the version and just kind of see how it works. And eventually this will get applied to the stubs, the CircuitPython stubs that I worked a couple times on stream now. For folks that might be new, the stubs are like a kind of like documentation that is built into the CircuitPython project. There's a way to build it. Just inside the repo, you can run make stubs. And the idea is it contains typing information about all of the CircuitPython implementation. So it's really nice if you have an IDE that can read those stubs, and then it can show you relevant information about the code that you're working on. So it knows what type of things you're supposed to pass it. It knows like what type of thing you're going to get back. It knows kind of what functions exist and all kinds of stuff like that. So, like I said, we're going to kind of start a little ways away from that. We're going to start with GitHub Actions and PyPy versioning specifically. So that's where we're at. Hey, Keith. Good evening. After that, at some point, if I get tired of working on that, the next thing that I'll kind of play with is this new text library, new display.io text library. So for those folks that have watched my streams before, one of the things that I do a lot of, although not as much in the last few weeks, but I'm sure I'll get back to it, but certainly for a while leading up to it, one of the common things that I would work on is display.io related projects, so libraries and projects and things like that. So this is a new display.io library that is kind of like a layer built on top of display text, which we do a lot of work on the stream I have done. It's built on top, and it's almost like it's almost like PyPortal or MagTag or a couple of those libraries. They have like Funhouse, I think, has this. A couple of them, they have like a easier API or just less boilerplate code for the API. You can kind of just say like text 1 is this, text 2 is that. You don't really have to initialize it too much. You just import it. So this is an example of the code that's in this library. It's actually the first time I've taken a look at it today. I saw it came out a couple weeks back. Looks like 2 weeks back. Kind of caught my eye because I always keep an eye on display.io stuff and kind of threw it on the stack to come and explore one of these days. And so maybe I'll play around with this, but that will be after we play around with actions and stuff first. Let's try to get some new knowledge around that. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do to start with actually is just make a new blank repo, and then we'll put a kind of sample Python file in it that just does, I don't know, hello world or something. We'll print something so that we know once we got it installed successfully and we can run it. But it won't really do that much of anything. So Then we'll play with actions inside of it and pip versions and things like that. So this is just going to be what? Test actions, deploy. And we don't really need a description. We're going to be public. We don't need any of these. I guess we can put a license. MIT, that should be fine. So I'm going to get a local copy of this. Whoops, I don't think that was the right thing. But is there a terminal in this? Oh, hey, look at that. Let's go repos, CircuitPython. It's not directly CircuitPython, I guess. What is this? Oh, there we go. So, yeah, we can put it in here, even though it's not, won't directly be a CircuitPython project. But so let's just go clone. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? Yeah, getting pretty warm out there. It's definitely pretty warm here. Definitely a lot better though, right? So I was gonna, yeah, I should mention that I was gonna do this last week. For those folks that were interested, thank you. I definitely appreciate you. And we got this crazy thunderstorm right at the end of the day there, right in the afternoon, and ended up knocking out the power for a couple hours. So I didn't get to go last Friday, but we're here tonight, so that's awesome. And I'll probably try to do this anytime, as long as I don't have anything else going on, whenever Scott's not around on Friday night, because normally I'd be watching that stream, so that's not going on. And I kind of work along with him on CircuitPython stuff, so I'm working on this kind of stuff at the same time anyway, so that stream's not on, then I will try to hang out here instead. So we're gonna clone this, and let's go inside of that. Which of course is empty right now. Test. Deploy. Yeah, the lights help. We have some like block out curtain things. It's like this thick. It's almost as like that reflective stuff. It's like a plastic kind of thick stuff. That helps quite a bit too. Luckily, it's not the time of the day for the sun to be coming right in this window here. It's by me. Let's go this window. Okay. So one of the things I need to do is real basic, just like get an action to run and print something, because let me tie this together a little bit. Actually, let me open up the CircuitPython thing. We can look where this is eventually going to get applied. Again, we're probably not going to make it all the way to having a PR ready for this in the actual CircuitPython repo, but this will provide some context, I think. Let's close this stuff. So inside of here, this is the main CircuitPython repo, and there's a setup py in here which is trying to publish the stubs. So of course the CircuitPython project, it runs on microcontrollers, right? That's the primary place for it. So the primary project doesn't really need to get distributed on pip, because it just comes loaded on devices, right? It gets built. You can access it from circuitpython.org. You can go download it for whichever device you need. So it doesn't typically get installed with pip. But the stubs, however, they can be installed with pip. So that's what this file actually does, the setup py that's inside the main repo. And the core kind of problem that we are trying to solve is inside of this actions file, we have down here somewhere, we have upload to S3 and PyPy. Let's look for S3. Upload stubs and MPY cross to PyPy. So this action here is going to build the stub, or well, they get built further up. One of the previous actions builds them. This one does go ahead and do the actual posting, although this is not the right branch, right? We're on the main branch here. We want to go. Did I do this in? Do this in CircuitPython foamyguy? Let me check. Okay, this is repos. Oh, interesting. This is broken apart by repos and sub. Interesting. This is like an extra layer that I'm not used to. Okay, so we want to go to fix sub setup pi. Is that right? Let me pull up the actual PR. Check out. Let's try that. I think that might be right. CircuitPython repo. Python repo. Or let's go GitHub. There is a PR for this, although it still needs work. So this is the work we're trying to do on it. Stubs. Right here. What is this called? Upload stubs action. Okay. So that is not this. Upload, here it is. Upload stubs action. Okay. Now we'll see this. So let's find that S3 thing again. S3. Yeah, so down here is where the upload to PyPy happens. And right now we are inside this action, which also builds and uploads to S3, or again, sorry, the build occurs above, but this one is uploading. It's uploading the MPY cross to Amazon S3, and currently in this PR, it's uploading the stubs to PyPy. But we want to separate it out. We don't want them together. Scott mentions this on this PR. This is PR 4861, if anyone is interested. Hey, Fede. How's it going? Thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's see what Scott said here. I think we'll want to split the S3 upload from PyPy because there's an if condition right here. If event name is push or event name is release and action is published or re-requested. So if it's a release that's being published or re-requested, I think. And again, this is the kind of stuff I'm trying to learn, so I'm not 100% sure on this. I think that's the idea there. Or if it is just a push. Okay, so that's going to be when this event runs, essentially. It's going to check these things, and if they're not true, then it's not going to do all of this stuff. And we need different logic for each one. Because we don't want to push to PyPy on every push, I don't think. I think the idea is we want to basically have one current stable release stubs that matches the current stable release CircuitPython, and we want one other listing or version, I guess, which is like a pre-release or an unstable or dev version. The dev version, I guess it's a question of what should the dev version be stuck with? Should it be stuck with main or the currently released? Is there a released pre-release? No. There's only releases. And so 6.3.0 is the current release. So probably 7 will be the next one, I guess, maybe. So the main stable release will be pegged to this. So when you just run, pip install CircuitPython stubs, then you're going to get the version that matches the latest stable release. But if you install, like pip install CircuitPython stubs I don't know, is there a dev flag or something? I think there's like a, how does that work? Pip install dev version. So you could hard code the version like equals equals, and then if you know the version number, you can put that. I think there might be like a flag as well, like dev. Oh, let's look version. Upgrade. That's not what we need. How many did we find? Looking out name and version. Let's see. Why don't I just run the, why don't we run this? Pip install, what's this? Let's try to see. There's a lot of options, aren't there? Okay. Basically, I think there's a flag that's like include dev versions, right? Include versions that aren't necessarily the stable one. Platform. Force reinstall. Yeah, maybe we should have stuck with the old Google. Around. This is kind of a lot of ones just listed like bottom here. A lot of this is not about, way more general. Here, development version, Python package. This is probably node. Let's see, pre dash pre. Yeah, I think that's going to be the one. Pip install dash pre. Okay, pre. Include pre-release and development versions. So by default, we only get stable versions. That's why if you just run it by itself, you're going to get the stable release. But if you use this flag, dash pre, then you would get the one that is pegged. I guess it's pegged. I guess maybe it would be pegged to main. So I guess we do want to upload the dev version every push, but the release version only on releases. Okay, so then what I need to try to figure out, because I've never really used it before, in actions, let's make an action that runs, like, let's start super basic. Let's just make an action that runs on push. Let's make another action that runs on release and just print something. Let's start with only printing, and then we'll work up from there. Because again, I'm like brand new to actions. The only thing I've ever done with them is all inside CircuitPython, and it's kind of just picking and poking at some of the existing stuff. So this goes like this, right? I think workflows, is that right? No, .github, and then workflows goes inside there. Yeah, that's right. .github, workflows goes inside of there, and it's not hidden. There's no dot at the front there. Seen things like, dev, when dev is in the version, I've done a little bit of reading on this in the past few days, but when dev is in the version like that, then it knows, I think, if I understand correctly, then pip just knows that it's going to be a dev version, and so it will get skipped on, when it tries to install stable, like if you just do CircuitPython stubs. I think that's how it knows. So that's going to be, I think what we're going to try to do is, like, we'll end up needing to edit this code back inside CircuitPython in setupy. This code right here is building a version and including dev. So somehow we'll be modifying this. I don't know how this code's gonna know that it's a dev that it's not a stable release, but yeah, we'll solve that problem when we get here. But eventually, this code will generate a version like that for us, and it will include dev, you know, on a regular push, and then it will not include dev on a release. So we want a file. Does it matter? Build.yaml. Do we always have to put it in? We always have to put it in build. I feel like it. I mean, there's a bunch of others here, but these are. I don't know. Pre-commit YAML. I've seen that before. It does. So are these file names important? Let me pull up GitHub Actions docs as well. GitHub Actions docs. Okay, so we want to just know something relatively quick. Let's check in the quick start and see if they see which file name they tell us to make. Okay, no. This looks like it can be custom. Yeah. GitHub workflows inside of there, they just make GitHub Actions demo, which that's just named after the project. Ooh, we can echo emojis. We're totally doing that. Scroll to the bottom of the page, create a new branch. Okay, so yeah, we can name it whatever we want. I feel like CircuitPython projects use build a lot, so I'll go with that. I'm not sure what the like best practice is. Is that supposed to be named after action? I mean, it doesn't really run when it builds. Oh, in CircuitPython, it's running the build. It's building all CircuitPython for all those devices. That's probably why it's named build. But then what about libraries? We're kind of... What is it called in libraries? Let me check that. We're kind of closer to a library. Is that true? Let's see, do I still have that display? No, it doesn't look like. Let's go display button. That'll be good enough. Just build in here too. Interesting though, because this one doesn't. I mean, does it build anything? It doesn't really build any. It builds the docs, I guess. Oh, the name of it does matter. Let me pull that over here. Hopefully the chat's not messed up now. Let's see here. Sorry, the name of the version. Yeah, this is the name of the version. I see. Yeah. So I think, okay, so you can include an A for alpha, you can include a B for beta, you can include an RC for release candidate, and dev. I think what we'll probably end up going with is dev, because the code has that in it now. What I don't know is how the release one will know that it's a release one and not include that. It'll be something for us to solve. Yeah, this is a good resource. Thanks for the link, Fede. Okay. So we'll stick with build for now. That's fine. Doesn't seem like it matters too much. Maybe we can work from. Should we work from the docs page? Let's see. This is the wrong browser. Yeah, why don't we start from here? Because again, I'm super new to this, so this is probably a good place to start. Copy. It says copy all of this. Do we want to run all of this? We'll start with all of it. Maybe we'll cut some out. Name. Bunch of stuff. This one does say on push, so this will presumably happen every time we push, which I think is maybe what we want for the dev ones, the dev stubs. So let's see, this is just going to say a bunch of interesting information. Okay, this will print out a bunch of things. Looks like we're allowed to use some variables inside of here. So this like $, and then double curly brackets is substituting all this stuff in. So when it runs, I assume these will get printed not as literals, but substituted in with what that variable is. Actually, that's really cool. So let's save this, and then do we need to do anything else? I think maybe we can just push this. So first, let's go initial code. It's really actions, I guess, more than code, but that's all right. Let's push it. And this is back to here. Okay, so yeah, that is running. Pull the chat back up in front over here. Okay. That finished. Okay, so we get one of these fold out things for every bullet point inside a step. I'm also going to refer back to the CircuitPython one as I go here to kind of draw parallels. So we have jobs, we have steps. Yeah. Okay, so steps can have a run, steps can have a uses. Not sure what that one does. That must be some kind of importing. Steps can have a name. And let's jump back to this one. That's all we have in this one are runs, names, and uses. Let's look at this. So this job was automatically triggered by a push event. This job is now running on the Linux server. I guess maybe you can specify different, like Windows maybe? Or Mac. Okay, it knows the name of the branch. It knows the name of the branch. So the name of the branch could be helpful in determining whether it's the dev version or not, because the name of the branch would be main for the dev versions, but these get a branch named after them. So if it's not main, then it's a release, but it's probably not quite that simple. It probably needs to check more for the numbering or something besides just not being main. That's good to know that it knows the branch we're on, and it checked out the repository code, so that way it can download a copy of what's inside of the repo. Okay, so that's one of the things that uses is doing actually. It's the repo checkout. Normally on push, it'll also have a pull request one line below it, as most of the code that comes to CircuitPy are from PRs. CPy build recently has a build for MPY on Mac. Okay, nice. It knows the repo here. Let's follow along with the prints as well. This has been cloned. Workflow is ready to test, and so we don't have any tests, but if we did, could run the tests. Okay, so it's doing an ls to print all of the stuff inside the repo, which is not going to be much. License, so it's ls doesn't have AL flag, so can't see hidden files like .git and .workflows or .github. Status. Interesting. So it knows once you get to the end. Once you get to the end, it knows if it's a success. What if something that comes after you call that makes it fail? Maybe you can only do that as the last thing. Okay. So let's see if we can make another one of these that only runs when we we want to do a PR. Let's try to get one that only runs when we do a PR, and also one that only runs when we do a release. I think one or both of those might be needed. L, yep, A, gotcha. Yeah, I do usually use them together, but yeah, L does like prints the size, and it makes a nice little table, prints the chmod values and stuff. And then A will show you those hidden files. So why don't we cut out most of this? Let's print only the branch, I think, because I do think the branch might be helpful. Let's print only the branch. Check out the repository code. Yeah, I guess we should probably keep that because we are going to be trying to post to PyPy. So we need to get a copy of the code, I think. We don't need to... Oh, okay, actually, yeah, we could leave the print. I like the idea of having a bunch of these prints, actually, so we can tell where we're at and what's going on. This one we don't need, though. That one doesn't do anything helpful, really. This one we don't really need as well. And I don't know. I mean, I think we'll see on the page the red or the green, I think, if it's a success or failure. I don't know that we need to necessarily print specifically that. So let's get rid of all of those. Let's push this like that and just make sure we didn't break anything. Remove some actions. Runs on Ubuntu latest. Oh yeah, runs on, okay. What do they, let me see, is there a list of other options? I'd be kind of interested. We could just go runs on, GitHub actions runs on. Looks like these are our options. Windows Server 2019, 2016, Ubuntu 2020, 1804, or well, 2004, 1804. A couple different Macs. Nice. Okay. Ooh, what is this one? Manual events. Let me pull this into actually. I don't think it's gonna let me do that, I guess. Let's go copy that. You can manually trigger the workflows to trigger a specific one. Use the workflow dispatch event to trigger more than one workflow in a repository. Create custom event and event types. Use repository dispatch event. Yeah, hey, David, how's it going? Filling in for this week. Provide a ref and inputs to trigger the custom workflow dispatch. Oh, okay, so we can like trigger the workflow. It doesn't have to come from. It doesn't have to come from a Git action. Most of ours run like on push or on pull request or on release. But you could trigger it with an API call, which means you could trigger it from anything. Maybe it would be an interesting project one of these days to make make the funhouse send the API request to trigger a workflow to run. What could we do with that? There must be something interesting. Let's see, this should have run by now, I think, right? From our last push, yeah. And we're still successful. We got way fewer things. So we still know the branch in the repository. We checked out the code, and then we didn't really do anything else. So let's make another action, and let's make it run only on a PR. You want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. Can I PR? Yeah, I can PR my own repo. So we'll have another name. But we need dashes. I feel like these had dashes. Okay, so there's one, I see, it has to like nest kind of. There's one top level on, and then there's jobs. Okay, so we do have to specify, I mean, I guess we could make two different files, but the CircuitPython repo is like this, so I should probably just mimic this. So we actually have all three of these, well, four of these. Okay, so we are gonna have to do this different. We can't have this. Let's see here. Top of that URL, there's a list of the events. Oh, nice. Scroll down past it a little bit, probably. Here's a couple of examples. Yeah. And it looks like yeah, looks like this list here. Wow, so there's Unwrecked it now. There we go. I think we should be back. Here's this. Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself there. I think I accidentally must have chosen the wrong input. This thing is also very unhappy. I don't know. I'll try rebooting it real quick here. If it doesn't come back, then I'll just take it out and stop messing with it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, now we're back. And we're sounding good on that. And we got our sound back here. We didn't break it again, right? Yeah, no, okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah, thank you for the heads up that I had killed the sound, the microphone sound there. Appreciate that. Okay, so these are all, there's actually quite a lot of triggers that we can use here. I didn't realize how many of these things there were. What is Gollum? Update to the wiki page. Okay, so I'm going to grab the ones out of the CircuitPython project, which are push, pull requests, and releases. Releases that are type published releases. Check suite I'm not so sure about. I guess that means something to do with running tests. I don't know that we'll have those in this project, but we may as well leave it since it is in the CircuitPython project. And so we would need to specify like an on. So let me see here, actually. We only have a name on one thing. The other things just take a name automatically. They say run and then the command. Okay, so name is optional, and if you don't put it, then it will just basically make a name by saying run whatever. And so at this point, if we just left it like this, this action would run on all of these events, I believe. So if we push this right now, so add more triggers, it's going to run once because we just pushed. Maybe we pushed, yeah. And it shouldn't take that long. Let me let it finish here. Okay, so that one went. And now if I make a release, it will run, but it will run the same thing. Is that right? Let's try this. Tag version 0.0.1. First release. Publish. So it's running twice more, actually. Because when we released, we made a branch. Yes, we have a branch now. So we pushed to the branch in order to create it. So it ran once for pushing to this new branch, and it ran once for being a release. Okay, I've seen that happen on libraries before, where it runs twice. I've never known what that was about. But that makes sense. So we have one action that runs on all these events. And so the if statements inside of here will make it so that we can have certain actions happen on only certain events. Oh, and this thing prints the events, right? Like here. Or did I take it out? I must have took that line out. I should put that line back. Let me get that triggered by GitHub event. Let's put this one back. Why did we end up with 2 of those? Put one automatically. Okay, let's do that. Let's push this back. Print event name. Okay, so this should have run. Wrong repo. Let's go. I already have too many tags, too many tabs here. Here we go. Print event name. So this one will say push, triggered by a push event, and if we just go make another release, the other one will say release event, we would hope. Releases, new, 0.0.2, second release. So inside of here, it would still say push, but inside of here, it'll say release. Release event, yes. So we can make our if statement, which that's what this one is here. And so this is saying if it's a push or if it's a release. If the event name is release and the event action is published or re-requested. Okay, so we would want, how would we want to do this? We would not want really anything to happen on every push. Because at the end of the day, the action we're going to be taking is uploading to PyPy. And we don't need to upload on every push. Since all the code, somebody mentioned this, I think Fede or David, I forgot a few minutes ago though, somebody mentioned like all the code, I think it was Fede, mentioned like all the code in CircuitPython typically comes through a PR. All the code that makes it into like a proper, you know, released, even if it's a dev version of CircuitPython, comes through a PR. So we could say, anytime there's a PR, we push the dev version to PyPy. Anytime there is a release, we push the stable version to PyPy. So let's make it so that it will print in those two cases. And that works with one of these if statements. Looks like if, this is just in the context of the actions. This is not running like shell code, I don't think. Do we want to keep this part? Yeah, I think we'll probably keep this part. So we want to basically say, we only need like half of this for now. We're going to say, where do we want to put this part? Let's put it after this stuff. Is this a step though? This is not a step. You have a step that's an if? No. It has to go inside of a step. Use a branch and send a PR. Yeah, for sure. Definitely is in the main contributing guide. Yep. Let's go. So let's make a name because we need to actually have a new step. We can't just have this if floating here. So let's go name. This will be the release step, which eventually will be publish the stable version. This one's a colon, looks like, yeah. I like it if there's spaces here. Why is this yellow, by the way, also? Schema validation. Property jobs is not allowed. Says who? Oh, that's not what we want. Okay, well, we're just gonna deal with the yellow. Oh, I made it to the end. Here we go. So we don't want push. We want only if. Yeah, we probably don't. We need this outer parentheses, I don't think. So if it's a release and it's either published or re-requested, then we will run echo need to upload stable release to PyPy. And we kind of have the same thing again, pretty similar. So that's, I have no idea if that spacing is, yeah, it looks good. This is PR step, and this is, we need to know the event name for a PR. Let's see, that list actually, thanks again for this link, Fede. Let's see, I ended up one extra deeper, I think, right? Or this is a different, yeah, here we go, this is a different tab. Pull request, okay, pretty straightforward, just underscore. Oh, what is this? Review oh, you can run code on, huh, okay, yeah, I think they implemented something like that recently where, oh no, that would have still been on pull request. They implemented something where it can like send a comment. Like if it fails actions or silent or black. So event pull request, and we're not gonna have, I don't think we're gonna have these actions. I don't even know what these actions would be. You know what we could do though is we could say run echo action is how did this, it just substitutes in with this thing, $, double bracket, and we could say event.action. This would print what the action is, so that way we can see what the available ones are. But we don't need it in the if, I don't think. And do we need anything at the end of the if statement, like a colon or anything like that? No. Because it goes like inside the step, I guess. Oh, so we don't want to indent, do we? Yeah, run here is on the same level as if. I don't think we want to indent. Do they... This one, actually, the runs don't have bullets. I wonder what's the difference between bullets and not bullets. Oh, they're dashes anyway, not bullets, but... Fortunately, it looks like... Yeah. Yeah. So that, I mean, I guess that must be using, like, GitHub API to post the comment. But it looks like you could actually react to the comment as well. Like, you could have it run an actions whenever a comment comes in. It would be kind of interesting maybe to have, well, I don't know if they would put this code in all the different repos. It would be kind of interesting though to have like some neopixels or something and have it like have it twinkle or whatever for any time there's a new comment or, you know, commit or PR across like the whole project and the whole libraries and everything. That way you could kind of see like the active, you know, it would twinkle a lot when it's really active during the day and then slow down maybe at night. Be like kind of a twinkling state of CircuitPython. Same thing happens with Ansible. Oh, let me see this. It's a YAML thing. One is shorthand. Oh, okay. Dash run ls. The other one is longhand. Oh, okay. So the name. So we do put the if we have a name. The name gets the, that does make sense actually, yeah, because these are the ones, yeah, thank you, these are the ones that don't, they don't have a name specified, so they were just making the default one. So here we did specify a name, so we want to just go run. Looks like maybe we can't have 2 runs. So we would probably need to like either just echo once or so we can put 2 echoes inside of run actually. This is interesting. So it starts with a pipe. I think that's like a terminal shell thing. But there's nothing before it, so I think that's gonna say run both of these. Why don't we put one of these in all steps as well? So actually, let's just take another one of this up here, and let's just go test multi-line. We don't want the if. Test multi-line. Okay. Type is, here comes some multi-line stuff, okay. So if everything works in this, we'll get this printed when we push. If we make a release, we'll get this one. We don't need this anymore, right? Yeah, this is different. So if and run, we decided those should be same. Yeah, that looks better. This one should run on the release, and then this one should run on the pull request. And it will print both of these things. Pretty straightforward, I think. Let's save that. Let's push. I don't know. I added more things. This is really just a test. Doesn't matter too much what the commits are. Oh no, we failed one. Error on YAML syntax on line 15. I did this thing wrong. Let's see. Let's see what was in here. Pretty straightforward. Is my indentation wrong? Ah, yes, my indent. Yeah. My indention's wrong. Should be back here. No, it should be inside 1. Should be inside 1. Let's try it like that. Try fix indent. And indent the run. Yeah, thank you. Nope. Process completed with execode 2. Action is maybe event. Maybe it didn't have an action. Thinking maybe it didn't have an action. Oh, no. We don't have a quote. Yeah. Let's check here. Let's just quick check these other quotes while we're here. Single quote, single quote. Single quote, single quote. Single, single. Let's check parentheses too. One at the end. One here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep. Thank you. Fix missing quotes. What are we doing here? Oh, didn't actually commit. There we go. Test multi-line. printed multiple things. So we don't actually. We do not have an action, but it does not make it crash. It just substitutes empty. And then these, oh, that's nice. These show this thing, I don't know, a little diagonal dashy thing to indicate that they did not run, I guess, probably. So that's actually cool. So now let's test those two, though. Let's go make another release. We want to make a release. Why don't we go, let's make a PR and then merge it and then release it. Let's do that. That's more like a real workflow anyway. New branch, test PR branch. We can just make a file. Hello? Text file. You know what? Actually, let's not do that. Let's make a Python file. We don't need that. We're gonna eventually, because we're gonna try to push this to PyPy. So we can make a Python file with something inside it. We don't want it inside GitHub though. Oh, pip install YAML lint. Nice. Python file. Oh, let's go. What? Testing actions. foamyguy testing actions, because I think we'll publish this. So just in case if someone else has a thing called testing actions, we don't want to collide. And inside of here, let's just have def hello, and it prints hello world. So eventually when we publish this to PyPy, we should be able to install it. We should be able to import hello from foamyguy testing actions. We should be able to run it, have it print that. Okay, so this is going to be our PR. So push this, add Python script. Let's install that while this is going. Pip install YAML lint. Nice. Does that run like automatically inside of here, or do I need to run it? Do I run it like pylint? GitHub workflows YAML lint build. Nice. Yeah, there we go. And if I put this back, get rid of the error ones, maybe? Oh no, not all of them, at least. Let's see. I still have the same. It's unhappy about line too long. Too many blank lines. 34. Oh, it doesn't like, oh no, I have 2 instead of 1, I see. GitHub Actions doesn't use, I see. Okay, dash thingy. Okay, this is our test PR. I guess we edited this, we didn't necessarily need to, but we might as well just push that in as well. Remove extra space, empty line. Let's go into test PR branch. So let's make a PR from that. Okay, so does that action run? Does that action run when the PR gets created? Or when the PR gets merged? Because we want when it gets merged. This is when it gets created, though. Opened. So once we merge this is going to print a different action, and that's how we check this. We're going to want to check and only run the PR one, this one here, we're going to want to run that only when the action is merged or whatever it's going to be when we merge it. It's probably going to be merged, I guess. This seems like they chose pretty good names for stuff. But it did run correctly here. PR step, this was a PR. The PR's opened. So that part's good. But I think what we'll do, we'll merge this. We'll come back around and change it up to where it does only run that step below on a merge. But let's merge this one first and just see what all it does. We merge this. Back to here. Oh no, this is just from a commit though. Maybe there's not an action. This action is empty and this is just on a push event. Okay, so yeah, because we really don't want, we definitely don't want to upload to PyPy as soon as the PR gets created. We want to wait until it gets merged. Pull request, what's inside of here? By default, workflow only runs when the pull request type is opened, synchronized, or reopened. To trigger workflows for more activity types, use the types keyword. Types. Is it closed? We don't want to run it on closed ones that don't get merged either, though. Synchronize. Maybe we can't do this on a pull request merge. GitHub Actions on pull request merge. Your workflow only on merge. Closed, but that's not what we want. .event.pullRequest.merged equals true. There's no way to specify that it when it runs, because a merge pull request will always result in a push. You can use the push. So you want to run a workflow whenever a pull request is merged in your master branch. Okay. So we could say this is how we'll have to do it. Not specifically on a PR, but on a push to master. And because all the pushes to master come from PRs, then that's the only time it will get run. But if like Scott or somebody with access were to just push directly, then it would still get run, which I guess is what we want, right? Because if they make a change, whoever they are, then we want to regenerate the stubs. Apparently there's not a specialized event. We can limit it to main, though. I think that makes sense to say on push to main. Yeah, it looks like you can maybe do on pull request closed, and then inside of there check this boolean if it was merged is true. But I think we're going to be probably okay with just the push on push. So we would not say pull request, we would say if type is push, and we want to specify branches. Which is actually up here, it looks like. Branches. Main. Actually on main. Yeah. Okay. I guess this probably ran on my push to that other branch as well, but now it won't anymore. Okay. Yeah, and this is actually wrong. This should be need to upload dev. Yeah. Okay, so I think though, let me see, where did we stop here? We merged, did we release? Let's make a release with that merge. Didn't do that yet. So this is kind of the last leg of testing that original version. Whoops, third release. And so we have one push to the new branch, and we have one release. And so this one, yes, should run this step, and it did. Need to upload stable release to PyPy, which makes sense, and it did not run the PR step, so it's not going to upload a dev version, because of course the dev version for whatever this stable version is would already be up from a while ago. So that makes sense. So let's go ahead and push this change now. Am I gonna get all crazy if I try to go back to main here? Let's see, I added the branches. Is that the only thing I added? Oh no, we changed this from pull request to push. Okay. It's not that bad. Let's try it. Main. Smart checkout. Okay, I figured it out. We can update. And now we can commit. And I'm just gonna commit straight to main? No, I'm gonna make another PR. Test PR branch 2. I'm gonna make another PR. So change PR step 2 on push. Specify main branch. And we fixed an echo as well, but that's less important, I think, to include. Push. So let's make sure this did not run right now. Yeah, which I think it did the last time. Don't know for sure, but I think this one ran when I pushed to my branch that I ended up making that PR from. But now it won't because I added that branches. Let's make this. So do we really need this to run? We really need this to run when the PR gets created. We don't really. Do we? No, I don't think so, right? Because, well, I mean, for PyPy we don't. The rest of the CircuitPython project it might want to, because it might, I think they're doing the building, right? And they're doing the pre-commit and they're doing all of that stuff. Well, I don't know if they have pre-commit in the core, but that makes sense. But on my test project here, I mean, I could leave it just to be the same, but I think the truth is for now, I don't really need this because I don't have anything to run when a pull request gets created. I will put it back though, I guess. Let's see how this works. So I created this PR, which means because that was still there at the time, it would have ran. Yeah, pull request 2 was opened. It did not do either of these things, which is good. So then if we go and merge it, we should do the PR step thing. We should probably rename now, since it's not really tied to PRs anymore. Kinda, sort of, a little bit. There we go. Yep, PR step ran this time, but not release step, which makes sense. And now, finally, we would go and make a release. For no, okay. Maybe I got caps lock on or something. So 4th release. This would make now 4th release. Might have said releases in the name, that's fine. But this one will run the release step and not the PR step. Yes, it did. Ran the PR step. Oh, no. It ran the release step, but not the PR step. So that's perfect. So this is what we want, I think. My test one, I don't really need this. But we may as well keep it since CircuitPython has it, and again, that's where this is ultimately going to land. So maybe we should call this, well, we should just name them after the PyPy stuff. So this is like upload stable stubs to PyPy. And this is upload dev stubs to PyPy. Okay. So now I'm gonna push this, and then we need to make a setup py so that we can get this thing pushed into PyPy. That way we can try to figure out the version. I'll probably go for about another 45 minutes or so, till about 7 my time. And then I'll cut it out and go and eat some dinner. We'll see what we can get done. I'll probably have to refill my water before then. So do we want to make another PR? Let's just push. Let's just push to main. Check out. Push to main. This was just renaming steps, basically. Yeah, that's all I did. Rename a few. Rename steps. Rename action steps. Action steps. So those will get caught up into a release at some point. We have a merge. Oh, right, because we merged that PR. We want this. We want the one from ours. We want magic wand. Yeah. We want dev. Apply. Yeah. This says push rejected, but I think that's before we did the merging. I think it'll work now. Yeah. And that would have been 2 pushes? Nope, just 1. Okay. So let's get a setup pi. And I think we can just start with the one from CircuitPython, and we'll not need everything, but it's a good place to start. Okay, so I don't think we're going to need either of these. This is used in the version somehow, so we'll keep that. Okay, we'll keep that. We're not doing the actual stubs data files, so I'm going to get rid of that. Call this something kind of testy so that it's not on top of the name for anything else. Could just leave the description even though it will be wrong. Now let's change it. Let's change it. Testing actions in PyPy releasing. URL we could fill in. I don't know how important all of this stuff is for a test project, but we might as well do it. Tim, email, author is the same, IT, so we will not have data files at all. We will have packages. Data packages, setup, Py. Why don't we look in a library? Keywords, Py modules. Yeah, Py modules. That's what we need. Setup tools, I don't know if we would need that. Not in there already. Don't need it. So Py modules equals list. And this will just be a string. Foamyguy testing actions. Okay. So I should be able to install it locally. Pip install doc. Seems like it. So then I should be able to go Python from foamyguy testing actions import hello, and then hello. Okay, perfect. That is what we want, so get rid of this, quit. Let's go uninstall this. We don't need it installed anymore right now. Uninstall. Yes. Okay. Do we want to push this by itself? Yeah, let's push this one by itself. We can just push it to main again, setup pi, adding setup pi. And, oh, version. This is still gonna run the version thing. We want it to do that? What does this... Can we see what it comes up with somehow? Can we say like Python from setup import version? Commands. Normalizing. Actually. Seems like it partially worked. No commands. Not sure I understand what that error means. It does look like it started to generate a version number, though. Maybe we'll just let it run. See what it does. Once we have the PyPy upload. What if let me try one more thing. What if I just go import setup? No, same thing. I wonder if it's not liking the fact that it's running this. It's weird though, because the traceback's not pointing to inside this file. This is also not happy. Go like that. Okay. Yeah. Does not like running setup. But this did work. So quit git fetch, let's rename git remote rename origin foamyguy, git fetch foamyguy, this thing, refresh file. So that's not a branch. When it created the thing for the release, where are we at here? Tags. What's the difference between a tag and a branch? Or actually more specifically right now, can I check out a tag? Git checkout tag? Checkout tags. Specify the tag name. Close the branch. Git fetch all tags. Git fetch all tags. A branch named release. I guess we're specifying the branch name. We're just choosing the local branch name. Git checkout tags slash. And we didn't put a V. So ours, I think, is just like this, 0.0.4. No, that's too many zeros. B, and then the name we want. Dash B. Dash B. So we'll just call this, can you start branches with numbers? Branch. Okay, that's actually fine. That's because we changed CircuitPy. Just undo that. Okay. Okay. So this branch doesn't have CircuitPy yet. So what we're gonna do is make another PR, merge it, make another release, and then check out that release, and then do that change to set up import and print version and see what version prints. That way we know, that way we can tell what version's gonna print. Well, I mean, not what it's gonna print, but what it's gonna give to PyPy eventually. See if that's working correctly already or not. So let's do all those things. Well, actually, we don't need to make a PR because we just merged, or we just pushed directly to main. I'm gonna keep this page just in case I end up needing it. Grab this one back. I've already pushed a couple things to main, including the CircuitPy. So let's go no PR. Is that all right for now? Yeah, that's all right for now. Just make a release. 5th release. Fifth release. Okay. Now there's 05. And so we should be able to check this out like this. It's not done yet. Oh, no, it looks pretty done. Oh, I need to fetch. No? Need to fetch tags? Need to fetch tags. There we go. Okay, so now we're in 005 with CircuitPy. Comment this out. Python from setup import. Can we do it this way? Version? Yes. Okay. That looks good, actually. Because when we were back on main, we had dev. This is figuring it out actually already somehow. Quit this. Go back to main. Well, roll this back, I guess. Go back to main. Try it from here. Python. No, this one's... I swear that said dev a minute ago, didn't it? Yeah. But that's because the latest commit in main is the same as 5. That's because like main is at 5 right now. If we made a change, CircuitPython, and pushed it to main, changing main, and then ran that same exact thing on main, now it would have the dev. Oh, okay. Luckily that failed. Yes. Okay. That does make sense. I was a little worried there for a minute when we didn't get a dev, but that does make sense actually. Like if there haven't been any commits after the last stable release, then main is still at the stable release. So that does make sense. Once there's a new commit, then we get a .dev and a 1. So this is perfect. Yeah, I should run that and see what it does, shouldn't I? Yeah. Quit git describe. Yeah, sometimes I'm a little too willing to just be like, oh, that's a magical fairy inside the computer that does this, and I don't dig in. Sometimes I should just look at the code and think about what it does and go from there, kind of. So this does make sense, because it is getting the 05. It's splitting out these hyphens. It's getting rid of this part, the hash thing. It's tacking dev into there. And then it's interesting, this says dash here, but we don't get any dashes. That is kind of odd. I'm surprised that our version doesn't end up with any dashes in it. But I don't think we want them, so not going to lose too much sleep over it. All right. Okay, so this is awesome. This is really good. I'm again very new to PyPy versioning and GitHub Actions, and so like this all may seem very simple, basic level stuff, but this is all stuff I did not know, and so this is actually really good to kind of peel back the layers and figure out how a lot of this stuff is actually doing what it's doing. So I think we are ready to add a action step that will upload to PyPy. And if this version evaluates to have a dev in it, then it should get uploaded with a dev in the version. And if it doesn't, like on a release, then it should not have the dev in the version, and it should count as a stable release. And if I understand correctly, PyPy will just know the ones with dev are dev, and don't use them for stable installs. And if you use that --pre, then go ahead and grab the dev one. So let's go ahead and fix CircuitPy. And then let's go to actions and let's actually plug in some real uploads here. And I am actually, before I get into this, I'm going to run and fill my water and run to the restroom, and then I'll be right back. So maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, I'll be right back. All right. Let's get back to this here. Alrighty, let me check this. Okay, and let me put the chat back in front. There we are. Okay, so yeah, I think we can put some actual uploads like this. I think I'm gonna just go without that if statement. But I think I actually understand how this is working, which is a good step in the right direction. NeedPyPy is saying echo. This is something special. Set output. Name equals setupy. And then we're running this command basically to find out if this file exists or not. Later down here, we're saying if steps NeedPyPy outputs if it outputted setupy. And if we have a twine password. Do we want a twine password? thought it was like PyPy password. It's twine password. I think though I don't need these. I don't think I need the if statement. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this no matter what in this example test. So in here, we're going to run these. And then we're going to say echo dev upload complete. And same thing up here, but it will say stable upload complete. Yeah. And then the version is going to figure itself out, as we just saw with setup.py. So I will need to fill in some repository secrets to make this work. So let me do that on the other screen. Settings, and it's secrets, and then we're going to add, I think it goes in here, we're going to add repository secrets for the PyPy username and password, I believe, although truthfully I don't actually recall for certain, so I'm just going to look at another one. I think it's PyPy underscore username, PyPy underscore password. Yeah. Okay. This will take me just a moment here to make a couple of these. Name invalid. Oh, I had this last time. This happened before. It does not like me to copy off of this page. PyPy username. Yeah. Stop talking. Let's not accidentally leak anything here. PyPy password. Now we'll stop talking. I don't even know it anyway. I gotta look it up. Oh, I might know it actually. Oh. All right. I think that should do it. We go here. We'll pull this one back. I didn't have anything. On there still. I just wanted to close the other tab. Okay, so those should push now. So we added these here. Do we want to go PR this time? Just push to main. For all intents and purposes, it's basically the same. In CircuitPython, it's always going to come through a PR. But a push to main really is the same thing as far as the actions and the PyPy uploads and everything else is concerned, I think. So maybe we'll come back and test that on a PR afterwards, but for now I'm just going to push. And let's just make sure this looks good. Yep. Okay. Adding PyPy uploads. Yeah, and so this one, well, this one at least here, the push one, this is going to run, I think, as soon as I push this. And so we're going to end up with a dev version published right away, if that succeeds, I think. Failed. Error on line 31. I should have ran that lint. Yeah, these needs this, and it needs to be, I think, maybe indented, probably. One of the things that still is a little tough for me to get used to on this keyboard is the fact that the left and right arrow key and the up and down arrow key are on different hands. Up and down is on the right hand, left and right is on the left hand, and I always want to try to just use one hand and go like up one over one, up one over one, and cannot do it. Anyway, let's go. Do we want to try that lint? See if we can try that thing, see if it catches anything else we need to do right away. Let's go .github workflows YAML lint build. There we go. It does have some line too longs. Value line 2 on. Not sure what that one means, but I think those are mostly the same as before, and I don't see anything else. Let's give this one a try. Fix actions syntax. Robot beep. Golden prawn dumplings. Not my password, but not a bad one. Need a keyboard to run all the different lints after every keyboard. Yeah, that would be really funny. Okay, still failed. So we made it to trying to upload. And we got this problem. Turn non-zero. So this says check out repository code up here. Our version failed. Why did our version fail? No names found, cannot describe anything. Do we need to have uses? Do we need to have uses inside of here? Or does that carry on through the subsequent steps? Try adding uses inside PyPy uploads. No. Oh, cannot have uses and run together. So we definitely want run. So let's try to figure out. No names found, cannot describe anything. What does that mean? Git. This is so bright. Of parse. Hmm. Aha, this sounds helpful. The tool is performing a shallow clone. Yes. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is probably our issue, but we are not just running git pull. We are doing this thing. What does this thing do more specifically? Is there like a uses? Uses is a little bit too common. What if we said this part? Check out. Uses. Selection action to run. Owner repo ref. So what is this at v2? Is this trying to say like git checkout v2 as a tag or something? At main. Uses because people make modules or shortcuts. Okay. Here we go. This one does say actions checkout. The directory. Action. You must check out your repository before using the action. What does the checkout at v2 mean in this context? Only 2 matches. Let's check out repository. Okay. This must be what the v2 is pointing at. Fetch depth 0. That might be what we want. Well, this says, yeah, they said depth 500. I'm guessing 0 probably means like all, without specifying number. So if we said fetch depth 0 like this, is that what we would need? Here is only the last thing without history. This one says set fetch depth 0 to fetch all history for all branches and tags. Let's see where this goes. Oh, this is back to the events page. Depth. Doesn't say in here depth. We could try depth 500 like that other comment said. Touch depth. Ah, yeah, here we go. 0 indicates all history for all branches, and it defaults to 1. So this might be what we need. Touch depth 0. Let's try this. Did I go commit? CPY uses depth 0 submodules. True. Oh, okay. So I didn't have that part copied in. Submodules. We probably want... Well, I don't have any submodules in my test repo, but we... Yeah, it totally does. Good call. And this is actually with. We need to put with, it looks like. So let's do that. Submodules, I think we can leave off in my test repo because I don't have any. And in the CircuitPython repo, they should just work the same way they do today. So let's go, this is with touch depth 0. Let's try like this. Hasn't failed yet. It's a good sign. Nope. It did try to upload... It did try to upload version 005 dev 5 though, so that's something. Okay, it's maybe just mad because we don't have a README. README.md. Need a README. Why don't we put something a little better? This project is for testing PyPy uploads from GitHub Actions. Adding README. I'm going to go back and read the error one more time. Let's just see if it says should have one of README, 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 running SDIS. Okay, so we got one of those now. Push. I think we're getting close. I ain't going to be wrapping up here before too long anyway, but I do think we're getting pretty close. So I'm going to try to power through and see if we actually get there. But if not, after a couple more tries, I'll end up giving up for the night. Okay, so we got a different thing. Need to upload dev release. Command twine not found. I think that's because we need to like pip install or apt install. Let's look here. Find twine. Yeah, we need these things. Get these things. I feel like we're getting real close now. We'll just put this up here. We don't need to do this if, because we want ours to run no matter what. And this is an extra level indented, I think. Yeah, now it's right. Okay. Install twine and other PyPy deps. We didn't actually commit this. Okay. Oh, still failed. Looks like it made it past this Estes thing, though. This seems like it didn't get my username correctly. Honestly, it looks like it prompted at the terminal. What does this one have? Yeah, this looks relevant, definitely. We need to have an environment. Inside the environment, we're going to define two variables. The two variables are going to come from our secrets, which we did fill in before. All right, closer all the time, closer all the time. Let's go here. Environment. Oh, no, we didn't get enough. Let's go all the environment. Let's get this whole thing. And we'll need this on this one as well. Yeah. Okay. Adding in bars or twine. Okay. Some of this stuff won't be a problem in the CircuitPython project. I just didn't copy over enough of the workflow. It's got a bunch of this stuff done already, but that's all right. This is good to learn actually what all these things are and which ones are, you know, required by which steps. Oh, we might have made it. Upload complete. Oh, we might have made it. Oh, I think we made it. Okay, 005 dev 8. So if we go like this, can we install it? Or I think not yet, right? Because it's only a pre-release, right? Let's just go back here. Git install this. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, not git. Git. It should be pip. Pip? Yeah. Okay. Oh no, it did try to download it. Maybe that's because there is no stable. If we say pre, does this do anything different? No. Yeah, we had an error on this again. Running git describe tags. I don't know where. What is exit? I mean, this almost looks like it's trying to download it from pip and then run this stuff, but if it's downloading it from pip, it's not going to be getting a git repo. It's not going to be able to run this command. I wonder if this exit 128 correlates to a specific error. Fatal not a git repository. How do I check the number? What do the versions look like inside of libraries? Doesn't have a version. Doesn't have a version. Version? Use SCM version. What does that mean? What is SCM though? Really say. It's just like a copy of the page from that first thing we looked at. Version. So we had this. What would it say the version was? On CircuitPy version. Oh, this is the wrong repo. Okay, let's just make a new one. Python setup.py version. Valid command version. -- version. 000. This is an unknown option. That's because it would need that SCM thing, and yeah, this would need this. Do now a comma? No, a commas. X error. Oh. Setup requires we have two. This one up here. Okay. That's a lot of stuff, but it's not too bad. What would it be on one of these release branches? But this would be different. Oh, well, no, okay, so it's did a smart checkout or whatever, so it's got my changes still. This didn't change. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do that. This might be where we call it for the night. I think. So if I'm understanding correctly, I think what the problem is that when we upload to PyPy, setup.py is getting executed, it's generating this version, everything's working fine. When we go to download from PyPy, setup.py is also trying to run. It's trying to run this command to build the version. It's not really inside a Git repo, I don't think, so it's not succeeding when it runs git describe tags. So the libraries use this other thing, SCM version. Which outputs, where'd that go? Right in here. Which outputs these things. Let's try it. I don't know what it's gonna do if we push it. I am interested though, maybe this is not changing because I still have changes inside setup.py. Like maybe it's knowing that those changes are newer. So maybe if we actually like push this and then make a release and then try to run it again, maybe it would get the right version. Let's see what happens. And then I'll probably call it after that. Hang it up for the night. So let's go try SCM version. I feel like we're super close. We might need to move the version figuring out logic outside of setup.py and put it into the action somehow in here. I don't know if that's possible, but I almost am thinking we can't like generate the version at the time that setup.py runs. It needs to be generated when the action runs, I think. Okay. Yeah, so this gets us back to here, which this is actually, I think, a problem that we had before and that somebody helped with. I want to give credit. Lay Samurai helped with. I want to say, yeah, we were getting this error. Yeah, we totally had this before. The Samurai offered some changes inside of setup.py. Although, it's like the git describe stuff was still there before. If I made a release right now, would the release work? I think the release might work. Six. Curious if this one succeeds, because this one might just be version like 006. That's it. And then if so, it might succeed. Hasn't failed yet. Oh. Yeah, looks like it succeeded. So now we could actually install it through pip. Pip install. We got test actions deploy. And this will get version 0.06. Or not. No, this it's got the old version still. Maybe we didn't wait long enough? Yeah, this time it tried to do 6. I think we didn't wait long enough, but we do have another error. Which is still the same error, actually. It's probably... Yeah, okay, this is just top-level code, so it's running this anyway. Even though we're not actually using version anymore. So if we did want this to work for now, we could comment this stuff out. Remove, well, I'm going to say comment out manual version string building. That was pushed to main, and then if we made one more release 7, I think release 7 would actually install. Of course, this will fail because it's going to be an invalid version. Now that we actually have some more stuff in here, though, it takes a minute. Okay, yep. Invalid version. So we expected that. Go here, though. 0.0.7, 7th release. This one, I think, would actually work once it gets uploaded. Yeah, thank you. I feel like I've learned a lot this evening, so thank you folks for hanging out and kind of coming along this journey with me. I know this is not necessarily like strictly CircuitPython stuff, but this is definitely going to help out the CircuitPython project with the stubs. Okay, so we uploaded 7, and now we're going to come back to here and clear this. Try this one more time. Nope, still. Oh, but yeah, this one still says 6. We gotta let it wait just another extra second here. There we go, we got 7. Fingers crossed, yep, that's all white. So I think we are good here. Python from, just make sure this last thing works, right? foamyguy, guy testing actions, import hello. So this is call it and it will print. So yeah, we got that installed. Okay, so to kind of wrap it up with a conclusion here, the core thing, kind of the next thing we'll need to work on is how can we generate this version? Well, I guess it's twofold. Either is there a way we can make this thing generate a version that works with PyPy? Because it is generating one, but PyPy is rejecting it. Yeah, right here. It's generating one that looks like this. Which is kind of weird that this thing is like automatic version, but it generates one that doesn't work. That does seem odd to me. So can we make this generate one that works for PyPy? Or if not, can we go back to doing it this way somehow? And is there a way we can do it without needing to run this stuff inside setupy? Because it doesn't seem like this stuff is able to run when we go back to install. So that's kind of the two ways that two high level, I think, approaches that we have kind of. If we can get one of those two to work, then I think fingers crossed. I think we're like pretty much there if we can get one of those two to work to generate this version for us. But I feel like I have a way better understanding of how Actions is working and how PyPy versioning is working as well. At some point, I would like to get some of these dev ones to succeed and just make sure that when you run install, it doesn't install the dev one unless you use that pre. But that'll have to wait until we can get one of these to actually publish. But yeah, anyway, I think that's going to be good for tonight. Definitely appreciate all you folks hanging out. Next week, Scott will be back, so I won't be streaming on Friday night. I'll be watching Scott. But like I said at the beginning, I do stream Saturday morning. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and if you are free on Saturday mornings, or at least it's morning in my time, so 10 a.m. Central, then you can hang out here, and I'll be back tomorrow doing that. Just a little over, a little over 12 hours from now, I'll be back, and I'll paste the links in the same chat and everything. So tune in if that sounds interesting to you. And otherwise, yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. I definitely appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Dexter. Yeah, I learned a ton as well. Glad I kind of finally sat down and did this. Kind of a slog to get through it, but I definitely am a lot better off for it. So, alrighty. Thanks all.